Welcome to Sunday Afternoon with Shad B. I'm going live on the air in about 15 minutes. So stay with me. You can listen to if you want to hear the music, you won't be able to really hear the music on the YouTube or on not the YouTube, the Facebook Live. But you can hear it if you're in the Omaha or Council Bluffs area at 95.7 FM, The Boss, or go anywhere worldwide to 957fmtheboss.com and tune in there. So be sure and tune in. That way you can hear all the music I'm really excited about today. We're playing hits of 1970. Well, I will be on shortly. Stay tuned and stay locked. Hey, what did you need? Yeah, I'm 14 minutes from it. Oh, yeah. No, I'm on the radio. I'm on the Facebook Live right now. Okay. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. So, on the behind the scenes, which you'll see here on the Facebook Live, I will tell you some stories. If you haven't watched before, we talk about the songs, the stories, anything going on. Feel free to jump in the chat. So, the show will be starting in about 14 minutes, but I'll be here in the meantime. And so once I get everything set up for the radio broadcast, I will come back to Facebook Live and talk to you some more. Ninety-five point seven, the boss over the FM dial anywhere in Omaha. 95.7, the boss over the FM dial. All right. There's all kinds of fun things. This is what I love about radio in 2025. We can do things like this and go behind the scenes. You can see what the people look like. When I was a kid growing up, I listened to all these radio people. I had no idea what they looked like. I always imagined what I thought they looked like, but only when I knew what they looked like was Sally Jesse Raphael, because she had a TV and a radio show. Rest of them I didn't know. You can see what I look like. You can see it's not like this. The thing that also I love about this station, 95.7 The Boss, we're a local station, and so we don't play the same songs over and over all day. We have variety on here, which I love that. There's millions and millions of songs. How can you narrow it down to just 2 or 3, right? So we're getting all set up to go here. Mm-hmm. All right, it's 4 minutes till showtime. So, like I said, if you want to hear the music, if you want to hear me talk about the music and see the Facebook Live and see all the behind the scenes stuff, stay here on Facebook. If you want to hear the music, go over to our website, 957fmtheboss.com. or tune us in on your FM dial, 95.7 in the Omaha, Council Bluffs suburbs, all through there. Should be able to get us all the way out to about Gretna, Nebraska, and you can get us put over Council Bluffs, all through that area too. So if you're out driving around today, you can tune us in there. But if you just want to chill and hang out with me for a couple hours, I'll be here on a Facebook Live for you. But you just won't be able to hear the music. If I play the music, they cut my live stream off. It's just something Facebook and YouTube does because of copyright restrictions. We actually should be exempt from that because we're a radio station, but the computer doesn't see it that way, so it just cuts the stream. So that's why I have to keep the music turned down. But I'll share with you what I'm playing. I'll share with you stories about what I'm playing, and some interesting just stories of things that's happened over the years. So stay tuned. One minute till showtime, everybody. Yay! Yeah. 95.7 The Boss. It's now time to go back in time. This is Sunday afternoon with Shad B, and I am Shad B. Today we're going back in time to 1970. In fact, we've got 20 of the biggest hits of 1970 coming up for you on this week's special edition of 1970. Plus, we're going to have Behind the Covers, where we play the original of a song, and then we play the cover version and let you decide which one you like best. And then later on today, we got brand new music. We also got a triple play from the Four Tops, a triple play from Breland, and some gospel music, all coming up in the next 2 hours. Welcome to Sunday Afternoon with Shad B. Let's start things off with a great classic from 1970. This is I'll Be There by the Jacksons 5, right here on 95.7 The Boss. So today's theme is 1970. That's 5 years before I was born. Um, but I'll be there. I picked it. It was one of the biggest songs of that year, and a huge record for the Jacksons Five. Um, One thing some people don't know is the line "Look over your shoulder, baby" was actually a mistake that Michael made, and Berry Gordy loved it, and it stayed in the original record. So uh, some songs do have some mistakes in them, and the mistakes clearly did something good because it was a big hit. You know, in the 90s, Mariah Carey covered the song, but the original and the way it'll always be presented in my head will be the Jacksons 5. Growing up, my parents had a tape, a Motown compilation, 8-track tape, and that was one of the songs on it. So I'll Be There is a song I truly grew up listening to. I think it was on track 2 of the tape, actually. So I don't know why. My head's full of useless information about music. So that's why it's good that I do a radio show, because it gives me a chance to use it for something. So that's the scoop on that song, I'll Be There. And it's one of the songs that did launch the Jacksons into being, you know, the superstar group that they became. And really one of the songs that really helped push Motown up there. Because that was when Motown Records was fairly new. They'd been around, you know, for a little while by 1970. But this was really bringing them some big mainstream success in the music world. And we all know, you know, by the 70s and 80s, what a powerhouse the Motown label was. Oh, and and this is on a different topic, everybody, but they said there may be some snow this week. Man, I thought we were done with that. Right? I really thought we were done with it. I'm done with it. I don't want to be in it. Might call in for work that day. No, I don't call in for work, but unless I'm really sick. But which I hope that's not ever the case again. I do not like being sick, but I do not like snow either. So it can go away. I'm ready for sunshine, fun, time in the pool. Let's go. And I was in the pool already today, but it's the indoor pool. I'm ready to have the outdoor pool open, 100 degrees. I'm ready. I'm all in for that life right there. I don't mind heat. It can get hot. Just don't let it get cold. It can get hot. I'll go get me an ice down cold drink somewhere, and I'll be A-okay. And I'm about to go back on the air. 95. 95.7, the boss. That's the Jacksons. I'll be there. This is little Edwin Starr for you with War. Ah, yeah, Edwin Starr, War. That was a great record from 1970. 1970 gave me some great. A lot of people haven't heard it, but Edwin Starr made a follow-up to this song called Stop the War Now. I played it on this show before, not playing it today, but I'll play it again sometime. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And this next one here is Frida Payne. It's Band of Gold. Now, Band of Gold, I have an interesting history with this song. This is Frida Payne's biggest hit, by the way. It's from 1970. Now, Frida Payne can still sing today. She's like 80 years old. She was on TV a couple years ago singing. She can still sing with the best of them. And she just did a record maybe about a year ago now with Johnny Mathis. He's 89. She's like 80, 81. They sound great. Check them out. But this song here, when I was a kid, my mom played this song constantly. It was one of her favorite songs. So I've always listened to the song. As I got older, I love the song too. I see why it was a big hit. And look, 1970 was an exciting year to do a special on. I'm going to do more specials on the year 1970 because there was just so much good music to pull from. The music was changing at the beginning of a new decade. Disco hadn't came in yet, so you still had the great classic soul sound like I'll Be There, Band of Gold, all that. And you had some more elements coming in, a little bit more funk, a little bit more danceability coming in. Just a lot of cool stuff was going on in the music landscape in 1970. And of course, you had some artists coming out of the woodwork that we hadn't heard before, Frida Payne being one of them. Edwin Starr was starting to really take off then. You had the breakup of the Beatles that year, which opened the door for a lot of other artists because the Beatles were dominating the charts in the late 60s, and it was making it really hard for other artists to do anything. It was really the Beatles and Motown at the end of the 60s, head-to-head for those record sales. So in the 70s, early 70s, when the Beatles broke up, now there's an open door again. So you have all these new artists coming out, and then some of your other artists like the Temptations that have been around a while are gaining some new momentum, trying out some new sounds. And the next song I'm going to do is actually a Temptations cut of them trying to go like a little bit different route. I don't think that it really worked as well for them, the route they took in the early 70s. They kind of got away from the classic pop sound and went with a little grittier sound. And it didn't sell as well, but it produced some great records. 95.7, The Boss. That's Frida Payne with Band of Gold. Now we got the Temptations with Ball of Confusion from 1970 right here on 95.7, The Boss. Now this song here, Ball of Confusion, That's What the World Is Today by the Temptations, Great song. It did take them in a little different direction. In the 60s, the Temptations had these great pop songs, these big number one, number two, number three songs. You had The Way You Do, The Things You Do, and you had My Girl, um, all those kind of songs. But for some reason, they kind of went a different route a little bit in the early 70s and did songs like Ball of Confusion. And again, great songs. They didn't sell quite as well. I think a lot of times when an artist or a group comes out one way, it's very hard for them to switch it up. Yeah, there's some people that have had multiple careers. Dionne Warwick's one of them. She is huge in the 60s. Her career faltered in the 70s. She made a big comeback in the 80s, put out some of her best records. Then she started going down a little bit more again in the 90s, and she is where she is today. But for the Temptations, it seems like they never really recovered that original momentum, though, that gave them those classics, most of them written by Smokey Robinson, My Girl, and The Way You Do, The Things You Do, I Wish It Would Rain, those kind of songs. But when you start out with records that are that big and that big of hits, it's hard to top it. And in the 70s, the Temptations kind of went to more socially conscious music, which tends to create maybe a better quality music lyrically, but it doesn't always translate that way to radio, and it doesn't translate that way to sales as much because the songs aren't as catchy. You know, you get a catchy song like My Girl, anybody can put that record out and it'll be a hit because it's catchy. Smokey Robinson was brilliant when he wrote that. That's why so many people have covered it. Most namely, the Mamas and Papas covered the song right after the Temptations had a hit on it and did well with it. It's on their greatest hits album, too. But I love the song Ball of Confusion by the Temptations. 95.7 The Boss, that's the Temptations with the Ball of Confusion. Now from 1970, we got Love on a Two-Way Street by The Moments, right here on 95.7 The Boss. Now this is a song that growing up, I originally heard this song by Stacy Lattisaw. I did not know until I was much older that the original was done by The Moments. So I heard the cover first. Good cover by Stacy Lattisaw, but we're focusing today on 1970, and The Moments did an amazing job on this. The Moments also had another record out called Sexy Mama, and I remember being a kindergartner and hearing that song, having no idea what the song meant. And I went to school and sang it for my kindergarten teacher. She wasn't impressed. Now, I don't remember who, but I know that there was a rap artist about 20 years ago that sampled from The Moments, Love on a Two-Way Street. Also, I remember, speaking of The Moments, J-Lo and LL Cool J sampled from The Moments on a record called All I Have. 95.7 The Boss, that's The Moments with Love on a Two-Way Street. Now, staying in the year 1970, we got a little Stevie Wonder, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours, right here on 95.7 The Boss. All right, so here's the next one we're doing right now is signed, sealed, and delivered, I'm yours. That's the Stevie Wonder song. Now, this was another song. It was on the same tape that I'll Be There was on growing up. So I'm talking about 2, 3, 4 years old, laying on the floor in the van. No, we didn't wear seatbelts in 1975 and 76 when I was a little baby. But laying on the floor in the van, riding around in the car, this was a song I heard all the time. It was on track 3 of the Motown compilation tape my parents had. So, yeah, I know this song frontwards and backwards. And it's probably this one and the other one that was on the same tape, Uptight, which is from the 60s. Probably 2 of my favorites of all time. Definitely. Definitely a song I like. Here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Hey. So, who has a favorite Stevie Wonder song? I really think Signed, Sealed, and Delivered is mine. Either that or Uptight. Everything is all right, uptight. Plain out of sight. One of those 2 would be my favorite, for sure. But I think Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, that music at the beginning of it's just catchy. Fun fact, It's a Shame by the Spinners, which is also from 1970, was written by Stevie Wonder. And Aretha Franklin's Until You Come Back to Me, which is from, I believe, 74, was also written by Stevie Wonder. $95.7 The Boss. That's Stevie Wonder. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Here's the 5 stair steps with Ooh Child right here on 95.7 The Boss. Let's go. Here's a group that could never top this single, Ooh Child. Big record in 1970. The 5 stair steps never had another big hit again. But what a song they had, Ooh Child. Things are gonna get easier. If you don't want to hear me talk and sing, go to 957fmtheboss.com and you can hear the whole show, all the music, and it'll be great. Or 95.7 in your FM dial if you're in the Omaha area. For sure. I think the Five Stair Steps are a Chicago group. I think. But don't quote me on it. Oh, the next one's an artist that I love. Eddie Holman. He can still sing in his late 70s. He actually sang for the president a couple years ago out at Mar-a-Lago for a New Year's Eve party. But he tours and travels. But I mean, Eddie Holman singing, for the president, all kinds of people still. And his big moment was 1970 with Hey There Lonely Girl. 95.7 The Boss, that's Ooh Child with the Five Stair Steps. This here is Eddie Holman, still going strong well into his 70s, even sang for the president not too long ago. This here is Hey There Lonely Girl. All right, the next song is one I used to always call and request on the radio when I was a little boy. We had a station that played mid to late 60s and early 70s music called KLDZ in Lincoln back when I was a kid. And before that, I listened to KLMS. But KLDZ played mid to late 60s and up to like 72, 73 and through there. And they used to have a noontime call-in. So if I was ever home over the noon hour, maybe sick from school or maybe in the summer or something, I would always call in. 9 times out of 10, they would play it for me. I would ask for Stoned Love by the Supremes. Great song. I loved it then when I was a little kid back in the 80s, listening to it. And I love it today now that I'm an old kid. So, yeah. And Eddie Holman, if you look him up on YouTube, singing Hey There Lonely Girl and other songs like that, he still can hit the high notes. The man's almost 80 years old and can still sing with the best of them. It's awesome. He can out-sing most of these younger singers, I'm telling you. Wow. He's a testament. He's also a minister. He's a testament of being blessed by God. His voice is just amazing. And Hey There Lonely Girl is a tough song to sing. A couple of people have covered it. Either Sean or David Cassidy, one of the two of them covered it. I don't remember who. And also an artist named Robert John had a hit on Hey There Lonely Girl in like 1980, right around there. But nobody can sing it like Eddie Holman. Eddie Holman's it's just his song. It's just his song. Have a perfect voice, perfect demeanor for that song. All right, going back on the air. I'll be right back, everybody. .7 The Boss. That's Eddie Holman with Hey There Lonely Girl. And Stan in 1970, we've got Stoned Love by the Supremes. It's easier when I have a guest. I'll be honest. It's easier if I have a co-host or a guest up here, but today I'm up here by myself. So you'll just have to make do with me. Like I said, if you want to listen to music, I don't mind. Go over to 95.7 FM The Boss. It's 9. The website's www.957fmtheboss.com. You can listen to all the music live. Also, if you're in the Omaha area, go to the FM dial, 95.7 The Boss. Last Sunday, I was so excited. I had some guys invite me to their podcast, and we recorded the podcast, and they said something went wrong in the final mixdown, and they lost the audio. So we're going to have to redo all of it, most likely. They got somebody that thinks they might be able to save it, but who knows. But I had fun, and once it's released, I'll tell you guys more about it. How about that? Yeah, Stone Love by the Supremes. Great, great song. Stone Love, love for one another can bring our fighting to an end. Love it. So true too. A lot of the fighting that we do as people isn't even based on anything. You know, we all have those relatives that have like some ongoing feud that happened so long ago. They don't even know what they were fighting about anymore. They just know they're mad. Saw a show once about two old women that were angry at each other for like 70 years over a punch bowl. Why? 95.7 The Boss. That was Stone Love by the Supremes. Now here's some Tyrone Davis with Turn Back the Hands of Time. Right here on 95.7 The Boss. Oh, yeah, 1970 brought some great artists. One was Tyrone Davis with Turn Back the Hands of Time. Beautiful song. Total amazing song. I don't know if there's any covers of the song or not. I haven't ever heard one, but I'm sure somebody probably did. I'll have to research that sometime. The album cover is cool on the song. It has a picture of Tyrone Davis sitting in the middle of a clock. And how many of us wouldn't turn back the hands of time and change a few things? Maybe say some things we meant to say and didn't, and now we can't. Or maybe take back some things we said. How many wish that there was a take back button on your emails and your text messages? How about one on our mouths? Can take stuff we say back. Oh yeah, we all have done it. And if you say, "Oh no, I don't ever say anything or do anything wrong," yeah, don't kid yourself. We all know it. We all mess up, right? But it's what you do after you mess up that makes the difference. Did you go back and fix it? We can't take words back, but we can sometimes fix it. Put a little salve, put a little balm on it, you know. And healing balm, whatever that stuff is, that ointment, to kind of start fixing up the damage we made. If I could turn back the hands of time. Yeah, they're not going to pay me to redo that song. I think Tyrone Davis did much better than I could have. 95.7, The Boss. That's Tyrone Davis with Turn Back the Hands of Time. Now staying right with 1970. This is Express Yourself with Charles Wright and the Watts 130th Street Rhythm Section. Oops, it's the 130th Street Rhythm Band. Hope nobody notices. Charge it to my head, not my heart, please. Sorry, Charles Wright. Can you believe we've already got through 11 songs from 1970? Songs were kind of short in 1970, a lot of them. Some that didn't make the list from 1970, like Bridge Over Troubled Water, were other really big songs. But I only really had room for 20. And 1970, they had some hits in 1970. I'm about to go back on the air. That's what I'm watching for. Charles Wright and the Watts 130th Street Rhythm Section with Express Yourself. Here's the Delphonics with Didn't I? Now, the Delphonics, another great, awesome group. I absolutely love this song. Didn't I blow your mind this time? And I remember back a million years ago, probably 20 years ago or better, there used to be a place over in Council Bluffs called Bluffs Run. And I didn't gamble, but me and one of my friends used to go over there and eat their breakfast buffet because it was only like $2.99 for all you can eat. And it was on Friday nights. And this particular night, they had a free concert. And my friend didn't know who Jay and the Techniques were, but I did because growing up I always listened to apples, peaches, pumpkin pie. So it turned out they had a free concert that night. And I got to meet Jay and the Techniques, or I got to see rather Jay and the Techniques. Jay Proctor wasn't feeling good that night. His voice was giving out on him, but he gave it his all. And this is one of the covers he did, was Didn't I? Because Jay and the Techniques only really have 2 hits, Keep the Ball Rolling and Apples, Peaches, Pumpkin Pie. So he did those, but then he had to do songs like Didn't I Blow Your Mind, If You Don't Know Me By Now, a whole bunch. I forget, he did a Vanilla Fudge cover, but I forget what that song was. But anyhow, it don't matter. But he did a lot of covers. It was a fun night. The next artist coming up is Dionne Warwick. That's one of my favorite artists, and this is a song I loved when I was a little boy, I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Now, Dionne didn't want to do this song. Her hero was Ella Fitzgerald. Ella had put the song out, and it wasn't a hit for Ella. And so Dionne didn't want to do it, but she did it, and it became a hit for Dionne. And excuse me if I'm yawning. I got up super early today, but I did good. I got up, I went to the gym, I've been to church. Shout out to everybody over at Genesis Health Club at the Racket Club location in Lincoln, and everybody at Stonebridge Church. That is the Delphonics with Didn't I Blow Your Mind? Here we go. This is some Dionne Warwick from 1970. I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Now, this song here has some funny lyrics in it. What do you get when you fall in love? You get enough germs to catch pneumonia. After you do, he'll never phone you. I'll never fall in love again. A lot of people did this song. One of Dionne Warwick's best friends actually was the late Karen Carpenter. Even Karen herself covered part of the song. She put it in a medley. So Dionne and Karen went back and forth a lot. Karen Carpenter had a #1 with her brother called Close to You, which was a Dionne Warwick song. And Dionne Warwick herself said, oh, we missed it when we produced it. And Dionne Warwick actually, when she does live performances, frequently doesn't do her own version of Close to You, but actually sings it more in the style and the arrangement that Karen Carpenter did. Karen Carpenter was a tragic, tragic loss to the music industry and to the world. One of the songs that a lot of people don't realize originated with her was the song Superstar by the Carpenters. Luther Vandross covered the song, and so did Reuben Studdard. But the original song actually came from the Carpenters in the late 60s. It's off their second or third album. It was a self-titled album. It's called The Carpenters. 95.7 The Boss, that's Dionne Warwick with I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Here's a little Gene Chandler with Groovy Situation. Gene Chandler is the guy that had the big song with Duke of Earl back in the day, back in the 60s. 14 songs in. $95.7 The Boss. This is Cicero Blake. 95.7 The Boss. That's Cicero Blake with Oh Pretty Woman. Right here we got from 1970, The Undisputed Truth with Smiling Faces Sometimes. Now, how many know about this song here? 1970, Smiling Faces Sometimes by The Undisputed Truth. Very similar song to the Backstabbers. I don't remember who, but one of the two groups like tried suing the other group for using their idea. I don't know how that happened. I just remember hearing about it many years ago. But how many people know or work with or go to church with somebody or just have somebody like this in their family that's a smiling face, right? But all the time they can't wait to stab you in your back, talk about you, right? But in your face they're like, oh, I just love you. You're just such a wonderful person. But as soon as they walk off, they have 150 things to tell bad about you. But when you're in the room, they say, oh, I'm so happy to see you. That's those people to watch out for. Smiling faces sometimes. I'd rather have you openly hate me than be a smile in my face kind of person. I'll always catch it. Then I'll be mad because you not only hate me, but you're dishonest about the fact you hate me. Just tell me you hate me. How about that? Right? So that's what this record's about. Smiling faces. Sometimes pretend to be your friend. Can you dig it? Smiling faces. See that? And that's what they do. It hides the traces of the evil that lurks within. I love the song. First time I heard it when I was a kid, I was a little creeped out. It kind of has an eerie vibe to it. But what an awesome song. Man, 1970 had a lot of groups. Undisputed Truth was another group that really didn't have any more big hits. They're known as the one-hit wonder group. But what a hit to have. They hit the nail on the head. So much truth in this song. Smiling faces tell lies, but I found proof. But that's how they are, those smiling faces, and stab you in your back. Shoot, I had somebody talking to me, acting like they're my friend, texting somebody else bad about me unanimously. So you can't always trust the smiling face. From 1970, that's The Undisputed Truth with Smiling Faces. Staying right here in 1970, here's The Honeycomb. This one is called Stick Up, right here on 95.7 The Boss. All right, now The Honeycomb Stick Up is a song. I liked it so good that my mom had it on a record when I was a little bitty boy. And when I got a little older, I think I was in like middle school, I wanted it. And back then we didn't have the internet. I wanted it on a tape. So I remember I had to order a tape from Montgomery Ward's. It's called Soul Hits. Didn't It Blow Your Mind, I think is what it was called. Soul Hits of the 70s. Didn't It Blow Your Mind? And it was a whole series of tapes. There's like 20 or 30 of them. I ordered the one with Stick Up on it. And it happened to actually be an album of 1970 soul hits. It had Stick Up. Smiling Faces was on there. Funky Nassau Part 1 was on there. A lot of good songs on there. So in my quest to get Stick Up, which I had to pay like $10 for that tape, I got introduced to a lot of new songs. Kool-Aid, that's a song I forgot to put on here today from 1970. I may just throw that on there for next week. Or if I have extra time today, I may throw it in later. But Kool-Aid by the Kool-Aid Chemist, I believe is the name of the group. I'll have to look it up. That's another record from 1970. I should have put it on here. Just now thought about it. Charge it to my heart, not my head. Time is going quick. We're already about to start the second hour. I still got 3 more from 1970. Then we're going to go into some other stuff. .7 The Boss, that's the Honeycomb Stick Up right here. The next one here is The Beginning of the End is the name of the group. This is Funky Nassau Part 1. Funky Nassau is a song that had to grow on me. When I first heard it, and I was probably in like 9th grade or 10th grade at the time, I didn't really like the song. And I didn't like the song maybe until just a couple of years ago I started liking it. And actually put it on my personal playlist that I drive around and listen to. But I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea, I guess, then. But now it's cool. I love the song. Funky Nassau Part 1 by The Beginning of the End. Remember, you can go to our website or go to us over there if you're in the Omaha area and hear this great music. I just can't play it on here or they'll cut my screen. Facebook will. I wish I could. I wish I could play the music on the screen. Funky Nassau Part 1, The Beginning of the End. Now this next song here, this is, and I'm gonna tell you a little about this here. A lot of people don't know this, but Dionne Warwick had a sister named Dee Dee Warwick. And Dee Dee Warwick was not nowhere even close to the success that Dionne Warwick was. Now, a lot of people attribute that to the fact Dionne Warwick had a very unique vocal style. Her delivery, even to this day, her delivery and her phrasing is amazing, and it's second to none, and very different. Dee Dee, on the other hand, was a great singer in her own right, but she didn't have that uniqueness about her that her sister had. Um, and maybe she got overlooked a little bit because, the same last name. So another pair of sisters I can think of that both of them it worked out for was Loretta Lynn and Crystal Gale. But Crystal Gale marketed herself when she came out as totally different than her big sister, Loretta Lynn, so she wouldn't get looked over like that. But Dee Dee Warwick did get kind of looked over, but she did have a few hits, and 1970 was good to her. It gave her a pretty good song, and I really like this song. You just got to listen to the lyrics of it, because just imagine if it happened to you, how you would feel being at a party or a gathering and having this happen. This is even worse, probably, than the whole Leslie Gore, It's My Party situation. So here we go with Dee Dee Warwick. This song is called She Didn't Know, She Kept On Talking. It's by Dee Dee Warwick and the Dixie Flyers, right here on 95.7, The Boss. Fun fact, the last time that Dee Dee Warwick recorded before her death was she did record with her sister Dionne on Dionne's gospel album on a song as a Kirk Franklin cover, The Reason Why We Sing. But to my knowledge, she never recorded again. She's been dead quite a few years now. It was long before COVID when Dee Dee Warwick passed away. Her sister Dionne is, I believe, 85 and still touring the world, going to England, going all over, filling up auditoriums. She can't sing like she used to. Her cigarette smoking clearly distorted her once beautiful voice, but she still can do pretty good, and she still brings in the crowds, and people have fun. And when the artist gets to be in their 80s, you're not expecting a miracle. You're not expecting it to be 1960 all over again. And Dionne Warwick delivers that nostalgia night after night with her classic songs. So, hey, shout out to Dionne Warwick. And if she comments on this because she saw it, I'll be mind blown. But that probably, I'm not going to hold my breath till that one happens. This song here, She Didn't Know, was a case of a lady at a party talking about her husband. And her husband had the same name as Dee Dee's boyfriend. And pretty soon Dee Dee realized that her boyfriend was this woman's husband. And she wasn't about to tell her. See that, guys? It don't pay to cheat on your wife, right? Because you will get caught up with. One way or the other. They may end up working together. Something. I knew somebody that cheated on their wife, and she found out after he died. And the lady actually sang in the choir with her. Wow. That's all I can say about that one is wow. But this is Dee Dee Warwick, 1970. She Didn't Know. I got one more coming up for you from 1970. This next one I've got is Stand By Your Man. Now, you may know this as the late 60s Tammy Wynette song. Tammy and her producer wrote Stand By Your Man in like 5 minutes. But this version here is a cover version from 1970 by Candy Staton. And it did enter into the top 40. I think it got stalled in like the 20s. So it wasn't the biggest hit of the year, but it was a great one, a song I love. I've played this song many times on the air, especially on this show. A great song. Candy did a good cover of it. She kept the arrangement pretty much like Tammy had it, but she just added a little bit of candy to it, just made it her own. Really good cover. That was Dee Dee Warwick featuring the Dixie Flyers, which she didn't know. She kept on talking. Here's Candy Staton, Stand By Your Man. And then that wraps it up for our 1970s. For 1970, I should say. But then we got more stuff coming. We're still going to be in the 70s with today's Behind the Covers episode. We're looking at specifically Luther Ingram versus Barbara Mandrell. And let me know in the comments which one you like the best after you hear them both. But it's Luther Ingram versus Barbara Mandrell. Both had big hits with it. Luther Ingram was on the soul chart and the pop chart with it. And Barbara Mandrell was on the country chart and the pop chart with it. So it's a big pop hit, whichever way you slice it. And a great, great song by two great artists, but totally different approach to the song. And of course, it is going to be different in a song like that because if you know anything about the song, it's about a relationship. So in one case, you have a man that's stepping out with a married woman, or he's stepping out on his wife. Another one with a woman stepping out on a married man. So they had to change the words up a little bit for it. But if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. I'm about to go back on there. That's why I went radio silent there. .7, The Boss, Candy Staton with Stand By Your Man. It's now time for Behind the Covers. This is our new weekly thing that we're doing. New weekly feature where every week we're going to play a song. We're going to play the original version, either the original version or the hit version of the song, and then we're going to play a cover version of it, and then you decide which one you like better. So today we're doing Luther Ingram versus Barbara Mandrell. So this song here has been covered by many other people. Percy Sledge has done it. Millie Jackson has recorded it. So many people have recorded this song. But the two that had big hits with it was Luther Ingram and Barbara Mandrell. Both of them had a hit on the pop chart with it. Luther Ingram got on the R&B chart with it, and Barbara took it to the country chart. But both of them had huge hits with this song. It's Luther Ingram's biggest song. And this song was really a song that took Barbara Mandrell and moved her to a whole new level back in '79 when her version of this came out. So this song did very, very well. It's a great song. And we're going to start out with the original. This is the Luther Ingram version. This song is called If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right. Here we go on 95.7 The Boss. Anybody else not have lunch yet? Me. I'm so hungry. I am so hungry. Because I'm thinking of this song, listening to this song, and I'm thinking if loving Raisin Canes is wrong, I don't want to be right. That's what sounds so good right now is some Raisin Canes. I tell you what, when I'm done with this show, I'm headed there. I'm headed there. I got 2 hours downtime before my next thing that I have to do. I'll be at Raisin Canes. Trust and believe. So, what are some things that you're excited about for the summer? You can put them in the comments below or Facebook them to me this week. This is what I'm excited about. First of all, I'm excited for no more snow and cold weather. I hate that. But I'm super looking forward to Genesis Health Club's annual pool party. I can't not wait. I'm looking forward to road trips. I'd like to go to Chicago again this summer. Or at least somewhere. But Chicago would be fun. I want to go down to Manhattan, Kansas again this summer. There's a place down there called A&H Farms that I love to go to. They sell fresh produce and fresh farm goods. It's a cool place. All kinds of stuff. They have different festivals like the Peach Festival. I have peach donuts, peaches, peach jam, peach everything. I loved it. I'm about to go back on the air with this great If Loving You Is Wrong song. $95.7 The Boss. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. That's the original from Luther Ingram. Now we're going to check out the cover version. This is Barbara Mandrell's version. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. Now, up next we got, with Barbara Mandrell versus Luther Ingram behind the covers. I'll say that in this case, I love both versions. I actually like Barbara Mandrell's better. And here's why. She sped the song up. And it's more catchy. I like fast songs. And I like how she sped it up. I like the arrangement. And both of them are great, amazing vocalists. But in this case, I'm going to give it to Barbara. But I love Luther Ingram too. So don't get me wrong. Both versions are great. 95.7 The Boss. That's it for this episode of, or this part of the show anyway, Behind the Covers. This week's was If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right. And we did Luther Ingram versus Barbara Mandrell. Which do you like the best? I think both versions are totally awesome. I love both of them. I listen to both of them to this day. They're on my personal playlist. But I'll give you my opinion. All right? I know this is dangerous if I was doing sports radio. But in music radio, we can give our opinion and be okay. I hope. I love both artists and I love the song. I preferred the Barbara Mandrell version. I like the arrangement that's a little bit more up-tempo. And just the way she sings and delivers the song, I love it. But that being said, I love Luther Ingram's version as well. I love on Luther Ingram's the music at the beginning of it. The real extra funky music, I love that. But as far as just listening to it and singing along with it, I'm going to go with the Barbara Mandrell version. The next song is a very confusing song that I have a history with. This song is a song that was one of my favorites when I was a little boy. I'm talking about Little, 3, 4, 5. One of my favorite things back then and still to this day was cake. So the fact that the song actually talks about a cake made me like it. I don't pretend to even understand what the song is even about to this day. I think whoever wrote it might not even understand. I don't know. But it's a great song. This song is called MacArthur Park. And one of the iconic lyrics in it says, someone left the cake out in the rain. I don't know if I can take it because it took too long to bake it. And I'll never have that recipe again. Now, if it's a buttercream cake and you left it out in the rain, shame on you. Shame, shame, shame on you, right? No reason to waste a perfectly good buttercream cake. But if it has that gross whipped icing on it, it's okay. Leave it out in the rain, right? My birthday's coming up this week, so I've been thinking about cake. Somebody said, oh, what kind of sweets do you like? And I said, I'm team buttercream. And so I'm going to be eating a lot of buttercream. It's my birthday this month. My brother's next month. We're both team buttercream. So we've even talked about it and made a pact that we're only going to eat buttercream cake. But don't have buttercream frosting, ain't worth it. It's going to get put out in the rain. But what we're going to do today, I'm starting a new segment where I do triple plays towards the end of the show. Today we're going to do a Four Tops triple play. The 3 songs that I'm playing are songs that were not released as singles per se for the Four Tops. 2 of them are covers, including this one, and one was just an album cut. But we're going to go do a deep dive into the Four Tops, and I'm going to play 3 Four Tops songs, which, I mean, they got millions. They're an awesome group, but I picked 3 of them. So this is a Four Tops triple play. So I'm going to play you 3 Four Tops songs back to back, and then we'll be back with more. Here we go. This is MacArthur Park by the Four Tops, right here on 95.7 The Boss. Doing a Four Tops triple play just seems right. Team buttercream. What kind of frosting do you like out there? Do you like the whipped frosting? Do you like the buttercream frosting, or do you like cream cheese? I like the cream cheese frosting, okay. But when it's my birthday and I can eat buttercream if I want to, then of course it has to be team buttercream. My mom's the same way. My little brother's the same way. My grandma, I think my grandma would have ate whipped frosting. My grandma, now mind you, before I tell you this, my grandma was a little skinny lady. She was maybe 120 pounds or so, right? Little thing. But my grandma loved frosting. She would make sure that she got the piece of cake that had when people put like the big rose or something on a cake, she'd make sure she got that one with that big blob of frosting. And if somebody else didn't want their frosting, my grandma said, well, before you bite out of that cake, cut that frosting off and put it on mine. So my grandma was a big fan of her frosting, and I love frosting too. One frosting I found that I really like that just came out is the Dolly Parton frosting. Dolly Parton's cake mixes and frostings are awesome. I'm going to tell you that. I made one for my dad recently. He loved it. I made it for his birthday. And he's very picky on his cake. But as for me and my cake, it's tea and buttered cream. So, yeah. I hate that the two things from the bakery I don't like is that whipped frosting on cakes, and when they have the filled rolls, I like the pudding, kind of custard filling. I love that. But when they squeeze that whipped cream stuff in there, that tastes like toothpaste almost to me. What did they do? Fill it with AIM toothpaste? I don't know. Shout out to AIM toothpaste. That's the only brand I like to use. Well, shout out to them. That brand's been around for longer than me. Yes, it is my birthday this week. 50 years old. Can you imagine that? 50. Now, Breland said, and I got the video to even back it up, but Breland said that I didn't look like I was turning 50. He said I looked like I was 39 turning on 40. So give Breland a gold star. Give Breland a gold star. He deserves it, right? To have somebody that's like 29 tell me I look like I'm only 39, man, that made me feel good. Now, if the next time you see him on TV his nose is a little long like Pinocchio, it's because I caught up with him. But hey, big shout out to Breland. Shout out to Breland. MacArthur Park is a great song. When we used to do vinyl, when I did radio in Lincoln, I'd do overnight radio, and sometimes you might need, especially on overnight, when I did radio in Lincoln overnight, sometimes you'd need a soda to just keep you going, a Coca-Cola to keep you awake. And the building we were in, the radio station was on 10th floor. The soda machine was in the basement. So it took a little while, even with the elevator, to get down there. So MacArthur Park, because it clocks in at 6 minutes and 33 seconds, was the song I used to put on when I needed a little time to run down and get me a Coca-Cola or something to keep going. Or War has a song called The World is a Ghetto that's over 10 minutes in length. So that was a good one. Another DJ played a song called The Refried Boogie that was 45 minutes. I can't go more than 10 minutes, though. I can't listen to the same song for 45 minutes. I'm sorry. When the song is so long you have to cut into the middle of it to do a station ID, you know that song's too long. But I thought MacArthur Park would be fun to play with my birthday coming up because it's about a cake that got left out in the rain. My cake will not get left out in the rain. I will eat it, absolutely. And yes, I'm having 2 cakes in 1 week. So yes, I'll have to go work out an extra time. Shout out to everybody at Genesis. I'll be there. But I'm having cake with my mom, and I'm having cake with my brother. And both times it's going to be buttercream frosting. Team Buttercream. Levi Stubbs from the Four Tops, man, his vocals are just off the chart awesome. Going back on the air. 95.7 The Boss. You're in the middle of a Four Tops triple play. Here's another one. This is called My Fatherless Son. This is another song I really like. It's called My Fatherless Son by the Four Tops. And this song is about a guy that married a woman that had a child. She had been attacked and had a child, and he was like 3. And this man married her, and he didn't like the little boy at all at first. He had seen his father's eyes in him. He just hated the little boy for being alive. But as time went on, he started to see the little boy needed him. And he started to love him. And then his wife got pregnant. And him and the little boy went up to the hospital so the little boy could see his mom and he could see his wife have the new baby. And the doctor came out and said, "I'm sorry, your wife and your baby are dead." And that made, I believe his name is Joey, it made Joey his only son, or little Joey's only son. And so that's why the little boy was considered my fatherless son. And the dad raised him up. And he said he understood that was, fate would make that his only son. Heartbreaking song. This is the kind of song, they could make a movie out of that even today. I don't know why they don't. That's a movie script. Which is one of my goals for 2025, is to write a complete movie script. I've got the ideas, I've got some of the lines, so who knows? But I'm not writing a movie script like that. Not quite like that anyway. Oh, I didn't realize I did this. 2 tear jerkers in a row. You'll see what I got coming up next. $95.7 The Boss. That's the Four Tops with My Fatherless Son. You are in the middle of a Four Tops triple play. This next song is from the Four Tops as well. It's called Honey. All right, so this next song, Honey, by the Four Tops, is a real tearjerker. So since you can't hear it if you're watching the Facebook, go look it up later and listen to it. It's called Honey by the Four Tops. It's off the album called Soul Spin. It's from around 1970. Honey's about a guy who is in love with his wife, goes through all the regular stuff, car wrecks, all these little problems with his wife, but he just loves her. And one day, while she was home alone, the angels came and took her away. And he came home and found his wife gone. And so the song is basically him talking to his deceased wife, saying, "Honey, I miss you. I'm being good, and I'd love to be with you if only I could. Several artists have recorded this song. The original and the big hit version was by Bobby Goldsboro in the 60s. And then there were some female answer versions where it was Honey talking about, sorry I left that way type song. Tammy Wynette did that. And also Patti Page, which is my favorite version, female version of it. So a lot of people have done this song, but this is the Four Tops version. Levi Stubbs has a vocal ability to, on a song like that, or on My Fatherless Son, he had the ability to tear your heart out with a song. Levi Stubbs was just amazing. He lived a long, full life, but I wish he was still around with us singing Sugar Pie, Honey Bunch. You know that I love you. Or Bernadette. People are searching for that guy. Levi Stubbs, the lead singer of the Four Tops. What a great guy. What a great, great singer. He sang so many amazing songs. And he was still even trying to sing after he had a stroke. Couldn't stand up anymore. There's video footage of him at a Four Tops show after they replaced him. And he tried to sing a few lines of a song. Now, after these two songs that were really sad, I got to lift the spirits up a notch, so I'm going to bring you some gospel. And when I get this next song on, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this. This is Pastor Juan Adams and Outlet Worship is who I'm about to play. And I'll talk to you a little bit about Pastor Adams and about Outlet Worship as well. $95.7 The Boss. That was the triple play this week. That was the Four Tops. We kicked that off with MacArthur Park. Then we did My Fatherless Son, and we ended up with Honey. And that Honey, in case you're looking for it, it's hard to find it if you're trying to pull the song up online, because when you put in Four Tops and Honey, it'll bring up Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. I can't help myself. But it's on their album called Soul Spin from 1969 or 1970. I don't remember exactly which one. But that's where it is. So if you're looking for that song, that's how it is. Because that's a great, great old song there. All right, now that we did a couple of sad songs, we got to pump things up a little bit. And so we need a little gospel here at Sunday afternoon. So we're going to throw in a gospel song here for you. This is one of my favorite gospel artists. This is Pastor Juan Adams and Outlet Worship. He's out of Louisiana. Great guy. Great, great guy. And here's his song called Heaven Belongs to You. Right here on 95.7 The Boss. Pastor Juan Adams, I found him on social media recently and found this song, Heaven Belongs to You. And so I added him as a friend on Facebook, and we messaged back and forth a few times. Super, super nice guy. And seems to be a real strong man of God. I've watched some of his videos, and he's really a true believer. So let's all just say a prayer for Pastor Juan Adams. That's not being a pastor. It's not an easy job. Let's say a prayer for my pastor too, Mark Chipwood out at Stonebridge Church. I know being a pastor cannot be an easy job because you've got all these people, all these problems, all these different personalities. and keeping everybody, getting along, praying for everybody, getting up to see all the sick people, calling and checking on people, all that kind of stuff is very taxing to a person. So we really have to appreciate our pastors and do it more often than just Pastor Appreciation Month. And one of the best ways I think that we can show appreciation to our pastors is to show up at church. Let them know you support them, you're there. Now, if you can't get out or something, or you're sick, log in online, comment, hey, I'm here. But that way they know that they got you, that you're there, you're supporting what they're doing, because they're trying their best. A lot of pastors anyway are really trying their best to, do the right thing and inspire and encourage others. And if you're in Omaha and don't have a church home and want to come to the church I go to, it's Stonebridge Christian Church. It's out on 156th and Butler. And they have services at 8:30, 10 o'clock, and my personal favorite, 11:30. Plenty of parking. They got a full-blown coffee shop in there. So if you didn't have a chance to get your coffee, you're good to go. And children's ministry is locked and secured. You can drop your kids off. So there's a lot of great things. Stonebridge really has been a help to me. I used to always sit towards the back in church because I don't know why I always felt self-conscious or something at church because I don't dress up. Now I sit right up in the front where I can hear and see. I sit one row back. One row back from the front normally. So if you want to come out, most of the time I'm at the 11:30, sitting towards the front on the side. Come sit with me. Say, hey, I listen to you on 95.7 The Boss. You don't have to dress up to come there or nothing. Everybody's welcome. But this song here is awesome. Heaven Belongs to You, Pastor Juan Adams and Outlet Worship. Love this song. .7 The Boss. That is Heaven Belongs to You. This next song here is former Nebraska Cornhusker Thomas Lawson, number 36. And he's put that football down a few years ago, and he's picked up on that and became a singer, a rapper, a songwriter, and got all kinds of stuff going on. Super proud of him. He's my little brother. We unofficially adopted each other as brothers. And this is his song here. This is Showtime. And he's got more new music coming out soon. But this is his song here. This is called Showtime. And it's on 95.7 The Boss. Let's go. Here we go. This song will get you in the mood to go work out or just go get something done. Here we go. So this is Showtime from T-Law Vibes. He'll be back next week. He was here last week. He'll be up here next week with me. Which is good. It makes it easier to do this Facebook Live when I have somebody else to talk to. I know that you guys are out there listening, but it's weird sitting in a room by yourself, a closed room, and having this full-blown conversation and nobody answers your questions. If they do, it's just a text or a chat. I don't know. Now, up next, I've got another triple play. And T-Law Vibes and I may not be uh, biological brothers, but we're as close as brothers can be. He's an awesome little brother. Big shout out to T-Law Vibes. $95.7, The Boss. That's T-Law Vibes with Showtime. This next song here, we're going to start another triple play today for you. This is a Breland triple play. If you're watching on the live stream, I got my Breland shirt on because it's a Breland triple play. It's also a Breland first spin. This is Breland's new single. This here is called The Same Work. It's Breland featuring The War and the Treaty. It's called The Same Work right here on 95.7, The Boss. See that? I got my Breland shirt. I got my Breland shirt. No. I had to special order this. The shirts they had at his concert, they didn't have my size. But, hey, soon I'll be able to fit into the ones that they have at the concert venue. I swam 45 laps last night. Not too bad for somebody that's almost 50, huh? And I swam another 15 this morning. I would have swam more, but I'd been late for church, right? Just because you're getting older don't mean you still can't do fun stuff. Just maybe leave jumping out of airplanes, running marathons, stuff like that alone when you start getting a little older, when you get like 40, 50. Quit doing some of that stuff. Okay, we don't need you to break your neck or to blow your knees or have a heart attack. But you can still do cool stuff. We don't have to start acting older any sooner than we need to, right? Breland is such an amazing artist. Nice guy, too. First time I met Breland, I stopped breathing. The picture's on Facebook. I was so excited because he is my favorite singer. And when I met Breland, I was calm, cool, and collected until it came time to meet him in the autograph line, and I was like, 95.7, The Boss, The Same Work. And I had sent Breland a text about this. Last week, I played my all-time favorite song, The Extra Mile by Breland. And I sent him a message this week on Instagram. Yeah, it was Instagram. And told him, it really is the same work. The nurse and the singer are doing the same work, trying to heal the same hurt. That's very true. Because when I was in the hospital, there were 2 songs I wanted to hear. And I'd play them on repeat all night when I was sleeping. And that was Breland's The Extra Mile and Trust God by Justin Payne. Omaha's own Justin Payne. Shout out to you, Justin. Because music can be soothing, it can be comforting, it can be healing at times when we need it the most. And music is always there. Maybe your friends aren't there. Maybe your family can't be there. Maybe it's just you in a dark place in your mind. But that music can come and encourage you and inspire you. The next one here is another Breland. We're doing the Breland triple play. This next one here is a first spin. This is from the Twisters movie. This song here is called Boots Don't. right here on 95.7 The Boss. And this is actually a duet with Shania Twain. This is a song here that when Breland first dropped the teaser for it, the first like 30 seconds of the song of him sitting in his car singing it or his truck singing it, I was like, I can't wait for it to come out. I'm going to love this song. Man, what a song. It's called Boost Don't, Breland and Shania Twain, and it's off the Twisters album from the Twisters soundtrack. Song's been out a little while, but this is the first time we've spun it on the air here that I know of. Definitely my first time playing it. And that's what I love about doing these triple plays towards the end of the show. We can kind of dive into an artist's catalog, and I find songs that are a little different to kind of show the versatility of different artists, just like what we did with the Four Tops. It's a Breland triple play. This one's called Real Men Don't Cry. Oh my goodness, a winter storm watch for this week? Yes, starts late Tuesday night. That's my birthday. So I'm glad it's late Tuesday night, so it shouldn't mess up my birthday. But dang, I thought we were done with that. Oh, I hate winter. Hate it. I absolutely hate the winter time. Got one more song left. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching, whether you're watching live or in the replay. It means the world that at all the things you could watch, you can spend a little time watching me. Let me know who you are in the chat. And sorry for being such a downer and telling you about that winter storm watch. It just went off on my phone. Yikes. So I'm going to get all my stuff done Monday and Tuesday. Who knows what the rest of the week could bring, right? That was a Breland triple play. And what I love about these triple plays that we're doing at the end of the show now is it lets me delve a little bit into an artist's catalog to show you some different sides of the artist. Just like with the Four Tops, we did that one. We did the three songs by the Four Tops. We did MacArthur Park, which was a cover actually. My Fatherless Son, and Honey. And it showed three different styles of the Four Tops and three different kind of, musical environments. And the same with Breland, the same work featuring Warren Treaty. That's his new single from Project 2024, which is his album. That shows Breland, in one setting. Boots Don't have him in kind of the more 90s country setting, with Shania Twain. And Real Men Don't Cry have Breland in just his plain, that's off his first album, Rage and Sorrow. It's just Breland, right? That's just a straight Breland song. It's just you're hearing Breland pour his heart out in a record. So thank you for tuning in. Next week, we're going to move on to 1971. So come back for more of me next Sunday at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We're going to close things off with a gospel song here for you. This is a good one. This is Marcus Rogers featuring Marv and Rami Rose. This here is called Yahweh, and it's right here on 95.7 The Boss. Big shout out to Marcus Rogers, Pastor Marcus Rogers, and everybody out at Firehouse Church in Chicago. Hope to see you guys soon. And if you're going to Chicago or somewhere like that, this year going out that I-80 way, stop by it. It's so cool. The world's biggest truck stop is out there. And it's out, it's clear after Des Moines, but before you get to the Illinois state line. But look it up. It's on I-80, world's largest truck stop. In this truck stop, they got a full-blown food court, a buffet, a huge convenience store, a Western wear store, chiropractors, dentists, movie theaters, and you name it, it's in there. They live up to their name. It is the world's largest truck stop. Go and see it. So I will see you guys back next week. I'll be here from 2 to 4 next week. Next week, we're going to look at 1971. So we're going to play 20 of the biggest R&B and soul cuts from 1971. 70 was really a blast. So we're going to do 1971. And I'm going to keep going with this, and we're going to go all through the 70s. And then after we get through the 70s, I'm not sure where we're going to go decade. Maybe we'll go to the 60s. Maybe we'll go to the 80s. Maybe we'll look at B-sides from the 70s. Got any ideas? Let me know. But we're going to do 1971 next week. I got some more triple plays for you. I know I've got a Johnny Mathis triple play coming up next week. So you'll definitely want to be, for Mr. Romance himself, you'll want to hear what Mr. Romance has, which Johnny Mathis, he's the voice of romance is what they used to call him. He's still performing too at 89 years old. So, thank you so much. Have a great day. Goodbye.